Ladies and gentlemen, let us all welcome His Excellency Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr., President of the Republic of the Philippines and Commander-in-Chief, Armed Forces of the Philippines. As we begin with the ceremony, please remain standing for the entry of colors. Ladies and gentlemen, the Philippine National Anthem. Please remain standing for the invocation to be led by Colonel Roy L. Ungao, Army Chief Chaplain.
Manalangin tayo. Pinupuri ka namin, o mahal naming Panginoong Diyos, sa aming pagtitipon na ito at pinasasalamatan sa biyaya ng magandang panahon, sa biyaya ng mabuting kalusugan na aming taglay, at sa biyaya ng presensya ng bawat isang narito at ng kaisahan sa seremonyang ito. Kami ay nagagalak na nagpapasalamat din sa magandang nagaganap sa aming hukbong katihan dahil sa iyong pagpapala ng pagsugo sa mga mahuhusay na general na namuno sa amin, katulad ni General Romeo S. Browner Jr. na ngayon ay punong general ng aming sandatahang lakas. Maraming salamat po sa biyaya ng kanyang pagkatao at ang kahigitan na kanyang nagawa sa karangalan ng aming hukbong katihan. Patuloy mo po siyang pagpalain sa kanyang pamumuno sa aming sandatahang lakas. Pagpalain mo rin po ang kanyang mga mahal sa buhay at mga taong malapit sa kanya upang patuloy silang isang bukal ng kanyang inspirasyon at lakas sa kanilang suporta at pangunawa. Maraming salamat din, Panginoon, sa biyaya ng isa pang mahusay na general sa pagkatao ni Lieutenant General Roy M. Galido na itinalagang bagong mamumunong general ng aming hukbong katihan. Naway patuloy ang iyong makapangyarihang pagkilos sa amin sa kanyang pamumuno upang patuloy ang aming pagsulong sa marangal at magiting na kinabukasan. Kami ay nagpapasalamat din, Panginoon, sa presensya ng kagalang-galang na Pangulo ng aming bansa at aming Commander-in-Chief, Presidente Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr., bilang presider ng seremonyang ito ng pagsasali ng pamamahala sa aming hukbong katihan at ang malaking inspirasyon na dulot nito sa amin. Patuloy mo nawa kaming pagbuklurin sa di maigupong kaisahan bilang isang lahing tunay na makadiyos, makabayan, makatao at makakalikasan sa kanyang pamumuno. Patuloy mo pong pagpalain ang bawat isa sa amin, ang aming hukbong katihan, ang aming sandatahang lakas, at ang aming inang bayan. Papuri sa iyo, O Panginoong Diyos, ngayon at magpakailanman. Amen.
Please be seated. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, a pleasant afternoon. Today's occasion affords us to witness the change of command ceremony of the Philippine Army, while we give acknowledgement to the immeasurable contributions of the esteemed leader who has steered a 110,000-strong army towards greater achievement, General Romeo Saturnino Browner Jr. As we proceed, we shall witness a presentation of award to the 65th Commanding General of the Philippine Army for the exceptional performance rendered during his term. The award to be presented is the Philippine Legion of Honor. General Romeo Browner Jr., sir, is requested to stand and step forward as the citation of award is read by the Adjutant General, Armed Forces of the Philippines, Brigadier General Bernardo R. Fortes, Jr.
Republic of the Philippines, Department of National Defense, General Headquarters, Armed Forces of the Philippines, Camp General Emilio Aguinaldo, Quezon City. General Orders Number 1347, published on 4 August 2023, Award of the Philippine Legion of Honor, Degree of Commander. By direction of the President of the Republic of the Philippines and pursuant to paragraph 2A, 2B, Section 1, Chapter 1, Armed Forces of the Philippines, Regulations G, 131-054, dated 26 June 2014, the Philippine Legion of Honor, in the degree of Commander, is hereby awarded to General Romeo Saturnino Browner Jr., Officer Dash 10052, Philippine Army, for exceptionally meritorious and outstanding service rendered in a position of major responsibility as the 65th Commanding General, Philippine Army, from 7 December 2021 to 7 August 2023. With his professional competence and sterling leadership, General Browner Jr. led the Army in accomplishing the organizational thrust and operational policies of the command in line with the AFP's campaign plan Peace, Law Enforcement, and Development Support Plan Pagkakaisa 2023 to 2028. He pursued the institutionalization of comprehensive mental health program and ensured expedient processing of special financial assistance to the dependents of 644 killed in action personnel. Directed the conduct of various local and foreign trainings, achievement of 98% accomplishment rating for sustained warfighting enhancement and evaluation program, completion of several projects, and issuance of mobility assets to the different units Philippine Army-wide. He also complemented the PA campaign plan to support the FLAGO number 7 in the AFP Territorial Defense Kalasag and closely supervise the dismantling of 23 terrorist formations throughout the country. Furthermore, in the essence of humanitarian and compassion, he encouraged purposive stakeholder engagement, gathered 61.35 million pesos worth of relief goods for disaster-affected areas, and advocated a strong support to the nation's food security and environmental protection agenda. By these achievements, General Browner Jr. earned the respect and admiration of the Philippine government and the Filipino people. By order of the Secretary of National Defense, Artur Mirasol Cordura, Lieutenant General, Philippine Air Force, Vice Chief of Staff. Official signed, Bernardo Arportes Jr., Brigadier General, Philippine Army, the Adjutant General.
The sponsor of the 65th Commanding General, Philippine Army, Mrs. Melody Mariel V. Browner, ma'am, is requested to proceed on stage and assist in the awarding. Please all stand. His Excellency Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. is requested to present the award, assisted by Defense Secretary Gilberto C. Chodoro Jr. Likewise, a command plaque will be presented. Command plaque is presented to General Romis Browner Jr., O-10052 Philippine Army, for meritorious and invaluable service rendered as the 65th Commanding General, Philippine Army from 07 December 2021 to 31 July 2023. Well, congratulations to General Romis Browner Jr., sir. Thank you to His Excellency, to Defense Secretary, and to Mrs. Browner. Please be seated. Once again, a big hand for the 65th Commanding General, Philippine Army. We shall move on with the change of command ceremony. The Adjutant General, Armed Forces of the Philippines, will read the relief and designation orders.
General Headquarters, Armed Forces of the Philippines, Camp General Emilio Aguinaldo, Quezon City. General Orders number 1343, published on 1 August 2023. Section 1, Termination. Designation of General Romeo Saturnino Browner Jr., Officer -1005 Philippine Army, as Commanding General, Philippine Army, is terminated effective 31 July 2023. Section 2, Designation. Lieutenant General Roy M. Galido, Officer -10285 Philippine Army, is designated as Commanding General, Philippine Army, effective 31 July 2023, by command of General Browner Jr., Charlton Sian Martinez Gaerlan, Lieutenant General, Philippine Navy Marines, the Deputy Chief of Staff. Official signed, Bernardo Arportes Jr., Brigadier General, Philippine Army, the Adjutant General.
The outgoing, the 65th Commanding General, Philippine Army, General Romis Browner Jr., will give his remarks, and this will be followed by his reading and signing of the order for his relinquishment of command.
His Excellency Ferdinand Romualdez Marcos Jr., President of the Republic of the Philippines and Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of the Philippines, Secretary Antonio Lagdameo Jr., the Special Assistant to the President, Secretary Gilberto Eduardo Chidoro Jr., Secretary, National Defense, the incoming Commanding General of the Philippine Army, Lieutenant General Roy M. Galido, together with his wife, Ma'am Rina, their children, Renato and Ronin, members of my family, Melody, my daughter, Zuri, my son, Romeo III, my other daughters, Kiel and Sabrina, who are watching online. Let me also greet the Cabinet Secretary, Secretary Eduardo M. Año, the National Security Advisor, Presidential Advisor on Peace, Reconciliation, and Unity, Secretary Carlito G. Galvez Jr., the Secretary of the Department of Tourism, the Honorable Maria Esperanza Cristina Codilla Frasco. Let me also greet the Medal for Valor awardees. We have Lieutenant General Arturo B. Ortiz, General Cirilito E. Sobehana, Lieutenant General Bartolome Vicente O. Bacaro, and Colonel Herbert D. Dilag. Let me also greet the former Chiefs of Staff who are here with us, the former Commanding Generals of the Philippine Army, other Malacanang officials, other distinguished government officials, PMA Class 1988 and their ladies, PMA Class 1989 and their ladies, PMA Class 1990 and their ladies, friends and relatives, other stakeholders, members of the Foreign Armed Forces Attaché, friends from the media, other officers, enlisted personnel, and civilian human resource of the Philippine Army, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. Today marks a significant moment of transition as I stand before you to relinquish the command of more than 114,000 strong Philippine Army. Since I assumed command last 10 December 2021, I have lived each day with gratitude and humility, knowing that this was all part of God's plan. During my assumption as the 65th Commanding General and in line with the function of the Philippine Army as a force provider, I coined the acronym SERVE to articulate my main thrusts and the hallmark of my administration. S stands for soldier. We shall look after the welfare and ensure that their families are well taken care of. Letter E, we shall enhance the individual soldiers and all of our units' competencies to ensure that they are well-trained, well-equipped, and well-prepared to confront and conquer the enemies of the state while protecting our people. Letter R, we shall push the needed resources down to our remote units across the country. This enabled us to emerge victorious against the threat groups. And letter E, after ensuring an orderly and peaceful elections, we immediately transitioned towards attaining operational excellence. On soldiers' morale and welfare, for our most vital asset, our soldiers, we intensified our efforts in pursuing responsive morale and welfare programs with emphasis on their mental health through an active advocacy for comprehensive mental health programs that focus on the promotion, protection, and detection of the troops' mental health. Moreover, we institutionalized various interventions such as trauma risk management, mental health subject matter expert exchanges, behavioral health awareness program, and behavioral health desks of Philippine Army major units, especially for those in conflict-affected areas. Army personnel were encouraged to maintain utmost discipline and engage in regular physical activities to maintain their physical and mental health. We also initiated on boosting the morale of our units and soldiers by bestowing the CGPA Streamer Awards to recognize their contributions to the AFP's campaign. Correspondingly, all personnel and their dependents were inoculated with COVID-19 vaccines through the PA vaccination program. For our force multipliers, the CAFGU Active Auxiliaries, CAA biometric system was implemented to guarantee proper record management, speedy document transactions, and personnel disposition. In addition, we increased the CAA insurance to 207,000 pesos, which expanded the support to our CAFGUs who died in the line of duty. On enhancing the individual's unit's competencies, we enhanced the individual soldiers' and units' preparedness and combat effectiveness through purposive education and training programs, such as unit trainings, along with the trainings on intelligence, C4S, and civil military operations, which contributed to the successful focused military operations across the country. We also strengthened our relationships with foreign counterparts through bilateral and multilateral trainings to improve our capability development. We participated in 180 international military activities with our allied and strategic partners in the Indo-Pacific, Middle East, Europe, Africa, and the ASEAN region. This bolstered diplomatic ties with our allied forces and contributed to the preservation of peace, fostered development, and secured regional stability. We also actively pursued purposive organizational developments with 77 activated units and offices to further capacitate Army forces in accomplishing their mandated internal security operations tasks and establish a credible defense posture. In line with the national priority thrusts of the President, the Philippine Army has placed emphasis on reserve force development, recognizing its pivotal role in instituting prompt, efficient, and effective mobilization in times of conflict and disasters. As such, trainings and capability development programs were conducted as part of molding a responsive total Army force. We have strengthened the humanitarian assistance and disaster response capabilities of our regular and reserve forces by upgrading equipment, providing purposive training programs, and nurturing active collaboration with local and international subject matter expert exchanges. On pushing down the needed resources, in support of our resolute commitment in ending the local armed conflict, we have diligently provided essential operational support to further empower our forces and capacitate them in fulfilling their mandated tasks. Under my watch, the PA modernization program has successfully acquired a wide range of military equipment which significantly enhanced the Army's operational readiness, external and territorial defense capabilities. These acquisitions encompass firepower initiatives, mobility assets, and night fighting equipment, such as the 155 self-propelled howitzers, the M113A2 armored mortar carriers, the Sabra light tanks, and other modern assets. We then ascertained and sustained implementation of the PA C4I STAR, or Command, Control, Communications, Computers, Intelligence, Surveillance, Target Acquisition, and Reconnaissance, to adapt to the changing warfare landscape that revolves around weaponry system automations. In line with this, 11 unmanned aerial surveillance support facilities were successfully constructed and are currently undergoing various phases of inspection, acceptance, and turnover. On top of that, we have implemented the installation of 214 VSATs, or very small aperture terminals, to support the communication requirements of forward operating detachments, including units in remote and isolated areas. For the letter V, victory against all threats, with steady focus and capability build-up efforts, Army forces were able to attain remarkable results in immense support of the AFP's campaign. Under the realm of intelligence operations, we supported the implementation of 173 intelligence and counterintelligence projects, 417 case operations plans. Accordingly, these formidable undertakings significantly demonstrated laudable improvement in the overall hit factor and played a crucial role in the elimination of prominent high-ranking personalities of the communist terrorist group and local terrorist groups. Remarkably, the Army figured in 775 armed encounters, leading to a substantial depletion of the enemy's manpower by 2,651, while successfully capturing 2,510 firearms. Similarly, a stable influx of surrenderers totaling 2,452 was also observed. Outstandingly, we had efficiently destroyed 23 communist terrorist group formations across the entire country. On ensuring an orderly and peaceful 2022 national and local elections and achieving operational excellence, notably, we contributed to the successful and peaceful conduct of the elections. More Filipinos were able to cast their ballots, and there were less election-related violence compared with previous elections. We ardently maintained our non-partisan stance, and more personnel have experienced their right of suffrage. Afterwards, we focused on achieving operational excellence. In our relentless pursuit of becoming a world-class, multi-mission ready, cross-domain capable Army, our governance pathway implementation was meticulously orchestrated. In calendar year 2022, every office in the headquarters of the Philippine Army triumphantly achieved the coveted, compliant, and proficient status and solidified our commitment to excellence. A comprehensive rationalization of the table of organization and equipment was actively undertaken across the Philippine Army to effectively streamline and continuously provide appropriate force packages for AFP joint operations. Evidently, we witnessed the new administration's comprehensive strategic direction to the Philippine Army and the armed forces of the Philippines in general. As a result, our synergistic collaboration with different local and national government agencies and other stakeholders sustained security and stability in attaining national unity and reconciliation towards a just and lasting peace. I am immensely proud of the strides we have made, the milestones we have reached, and the impact we have had on the lives of those we serve, the Filipino people. We surmounted the challenges through courage, perseverance, and indomitable determination. Undoubtedly, the Philippine Army has risen to the call of duty time and time again. At this point, allow me to extend my sincerest gratitude to our Commander-in-Chief, President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr., sir, for allowing me to continue leading the more than 114,000-strong Army and for unceasingly supporting the Philippine Army's endeavors. Mr. President, thank you very much, sir. And on that note, allow me to present to you my tour of duty report, sir. To the Secretary of National Defense, the Honorable Gilberto C. Teodoro Jr., our multitude of thanks for supporting Team Army's capability build-up and efforts. To my seniors, mentors, and my mistas from the Philippine Military Academy, I am grateful beyond words for your wisdom, guidance, and expertise that helped me navigate this extremely important role. I also want to thank my constant source of inspiration, my family, for being incessantly supportive in all of my noble undertakings. For the whole Team Army, thank you from the bottom of my heart for your steadfast support and trust and commitment to excellence. It has been an honor to serve you as your commanding general, and I have high confidence that the future holds great things for this exceptional team. I hope that everyone will perform their best, exemplifying a professional and disciplined force. Always be guided by the principles of servant leadership, to lead and serve at the same time. As I step aside from the forefront of leadership, I implore you to extend the same unfaltered dedication to the able leadership of the incoming 66th Commanding General of the Philippine Army, Lieutenant General Roy M. Galido. Unite. General Galido and I are a tag team. When I was, during the first months of my tenure as Commanding General of the Philippine Army, General Galido was the Inspector General of the Philippine Army. And several times, he was 3-in-1. He was the Inspector General, he was acting Chief of Staff of the Philippine Army, acting Vice Commander of the Philippine Army. And at one time when I had to go abroad to attend the ASEAN Army's meeting, ASEAN Army's meeting, he acted also as Commanding General of the Philippine Army. So he was 4-in-1. To all of you, this has been your 65th Commanding General, General Romeo S. Browner Jr., handing over the command of the Philippine Army with honor and profound gratitude. Mabuhay ang hukbong katihan ng Pilipinas, mabuhay ang sandatahang lakas ng Pilipinas, mabuhay ang Republika ng Pilipinas, mabuhay tayong lahat. Maraming salamat po. Headquarters, Philippine Army, Office of the Commanding General, Fort Andres Bonifacio, Metro Manila, 07 August 2023. Office Orders Number 01. Relinquishment of Command. Pursuant to Section 1, General Orders Number 1343, General Headquarters, Armed Forces of the Philippines, dated 01 August 2023, I hereby relinquish the position as Commanding General of the Philippine Army effective 31 July 2023, and I sign in your presence.
The incoming, the 66th Commanding General, Philippine Army, Lieutenant General Roy M. Galido, will read and sign the orders for his assumption of command.
Headquarters, Philippine Army, Office of the Commanding General, Fort Andres Bonifacio, Metro Manila. General Orders Number 02, dated 07 August 2023. Assumption of Command. Pursuant to Section 2, General Orders Number 1343, General Headquarters, Armed Forces of the Philippines, dated 01 August 2023. I hereby assume the position as Commanding General, Philippine Army, effective 31 July 2023, and I sign in your presence.
We shall now witness the handover of the command symbol with His Excellency Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. presiding. Being handed over is the saber, which represents responsibility that goes with command and authority. The handover of the command symbol signifies the dynamism of the military organization. Responsibilities of the outgoing commander are being relinquished, yet a successor of same standard, reared with excellence just like him, accepts the responsibilities and stewardship of the command the outgoing commander will leave behind. Thank you very much. Congratulations to both the 65th and 66th Commanding Generals. Thank you to His Excellency. The new Commanding General, Philippine Army, the 66th Commanding General, Lieutenant General Roy M. Galido, will deliver his remarks.
To God be all the glory and my profound gratitude to the Almighty for this momentous event, an event making a milestone in the Philippine Army and in my personal military career, and also for bringing all of you here safely. Allow me to acknowledge and immediately express my gratitude to those who have been instrumental in this new phase of my military career, and those witnessing this event here at the Officers Club. To our President and the Commander-in-Chief, His Excellency Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr., thank you for the trust and confidence in my ability to lead the biggest component of the armed forces of the Philippines, the 110,000 officers and enlisted personnel of the Philippine Army. Thank you, sir. I will not fail you. To Honorable Gilbert C. Teodoro Jr., the Secretary of National Defense, and Lady Ma'am Monica Teodoro, thank you for your invaluable endorsement. I will remain true to my commitment. To Honorable Antonio Ernesto Lagdameo Jr., Special Assistant to the President, thank you for your presence and the opportunity to always brief you when you visit the area of Western Mindanao Command. Indeed, it was a big opportunity for me. To my immediate predecessor, General Romeo S. Browner Jr., the Chief of Staff, and Lady Ma'am Melody, thank you for the lessons you shared when I was your Inspector General. Thank you for giving me a chance, as mentioned earlier, to be the 4-in-1, a unique, and it is for the record of the Army. I was the only one designated 4-in-1 for a period of 5 days. But in reality, 5-in-1 yun, kasi I was the chairman of the promotion board during that period. That gave me a chance or a glimpse of leading the Army. Thank you, sir. To the members of the AFP Board of Generals, my Mr. Lieutenant General Art Cordura and Lady, the TDCS, Lieutenant General Sean Garland and Lady, the Commanding General Philippine Air Force, Lieutenant General Stephen Pareño, the Flag Officer in Command, Vice Admiral June Adasi, thank you for your recommendation on my designation as the Commanding General of the Philippine Army. my wife, Rina, my one and only for the past 31 years, and my only love, thank you for the inspiration. My son, Renato and Ronin, thank you for understanding my absence. And I'd like to acknowledge one of the happiest person here, being able to see two fine gentlemen he mentored. My father-in-law, Brigadier General Renato Jose, retired, the instructor pilot of our Commander-in-Chief. Secretary Eduardo Año, National Security Advisor and wife, Ma'am Jean. It's nice to see you again. Secretary Carlito Galvez Jr., the Presidential Advisor on Peace and Reconciliation and Unity. Secretary Romana Felix, Presidential Advisor on Military and Police Affairs. Secretary Maria Esperanza Cristina Garcia Frasco, ma'am, Secretary, Department of Tourism. Brigadier General Benjamin Acorda, the Chief PNP. Medal of Valor awardees, General Ortiz, General Sobihana, and General Bacaro. Colonel Dilag, thank you for your bravery. Malacanang officials present, Presidential Management Staff and the Security Group, distinguished government officials, with the indulgence of our guest of honor, may I also acknowledge my special guest from the Bangsamoro Autonomous Region area. We have the Governor of Maguindanao del Sur, Governor Mariam Sanki Mangudadatu, and of course the former Governor of the Sultan Kudarat Province, now Deputy General, the Director General of TESDA, Secretary Suharto Teng Mangudadatu. We also acknowledge Mayor Tukaw Mastura, Mayor Sultan Kudarat, and Sarafuddin Mastura, and the Vice Governor of Maguindanao del Sur, Vice Governor Nats Nathaniel, and his wife, the Mayor of Datu Angal Mintimbang, Mayor Joy. The former commanding generals of the Philippine Army, special mention to those I've worked with directly. Isa-isain ko po sila. Lieutenant General Miranda, Lieutenant General Rolando Bautista, I serve as their Chief Financial Officer. To the PMA class of 1988, please stand up, representing my late brother. Thank you very much, sir, General Centino. And we have General Faustino at the other end. PMA class of 1999 and ladies. This one, may I request the members of class 90 and their ladies, please stand up. Thank you very much. Indeed, you are true to our class name, Big Kiss Lahi. To my family, the Mabagos Alarilla Padilla clan of Nueva Ecija, thank you very much for coming. And the Galidos of the province of Antique. I'd like to also acknowledge my neighbors in Alabang Hills. Thank you very much for coming. The members of the Philippine Army Multi-Sectoral Advisory Board. I see Dr. Isa Suntay. Ma'am, thank you very much. The generals of the Headquarters Philippine Army, the commanders of the Philippine Army major units, members of the Conference Group Alpha, magandang hapon muli. When news came out that the President designated me as the new Commanding General of the Philippine Army, I was in the air, literally in the air. I was airborne on a board Philippine Black Hawk helicopter coming from a flag raising ceremony at Bakungan Islands, Taganak, Tawi-Tawi, which is just 1 nautical mile away from our friendly nation. Rather, a friendly neighbor nation. It was about dusk when we touched ground at Edwin Andrews Base, and I started to receive calls and messages. So pasensya po, doon sa nag-text sa akin, nagtumawag, baka sabihin nyo, snabero na ako, na-designate lang. I was in the air, literally. Walang signal sa air eh. These events are what makes goosebump scenarios due to the immense emotional experience, the sensation of success after all the sacrifices and hardship serving our country. I mentioned to Secretary Frasco that I'll show the pictures of Tawi-Tawi. Ma'am, it is a very wonderful place. It was a sleepless Monday night. Couldn't sleep because I still cannot get over the message. Then I received a call from the Headquarters Philippine Army asking for command guidance in preparation for this event. And I jokingly said, "Is that for real? If it's real, then guide right." Well, guide right means this is an instinct. When you are caught in a sudden situation, you guide right. Because you are in a parade, you guide right, you're in a straight line, you are good. Or you go to the point man, it's always on the right. But I took a deep breath. Kasi pag nag-guide right, they said, "It's Alpha Company." Then yung kausap ko sabi, "Sir, you're Delta Company." Then guide center. But in reality, if this was outside and doing the parade, at the center of this ceremony is the flag. And that gave me the inspiration. In this ceremony, the center is our president. And my guidelines will be in accordance to his plan. The SERVE campaign indeed delivered the results as planned. I am fortunate to have this as a staging point of my leadership of the Philippine Army. My command's thrust and directive will be in the form of a mantra, a motivating chant that every Army personnel, unit, and command may use to boost their energies and morale, especially when difficulties and confusion are faced. This is similar to the A, R, M, Y chant we yell to push us to the limits during marches and runs, to make sure there is still unity and direction no matter the situation and condition we face. Let me start with the word reliable. Reliability is founded on trust. The AFP, comprised mainly of the Army, is one of the highest trusted government agencies based on the recent survey conducted by Publicus Asia's Pahayag Quarter 2 that was released last June 2023. Discipline is the bedrock of trust. Discipline is what distinguishes an ordinary public servant from an extraordinary public servant. Army personnel is an extraordinary public servant. To sustain the trust of our people, let us always display the highest standard of discipline. Taking cue from the directive of our Commander-in-Chief during the assumption of General Browner as the Chief of Staff, AFP, last July 21, 2023, and during his second State of the Nation address, to include the impact of Republic Act 11939, our mission is clear: recalibrate our internal security operation and strengthen our organization for territorial defense so we can be responsive, relevant amidst the volatile, uncertain, complex, and ambiguous security environment. We will revisit the organizational setup of the Philippine Army, particularly its manpower distribution and management. We will also look at the sustainment of Army forces on a larger scale. And most especially, we will adopt a land maneuver concept that is suited to the defense of our sovereignty with a more agile, adaptive, regular, and reserve forces. Our relevance to our society goes beyond our service. It is time to reevaluate our system to empower our soldiers, for them to have skills that can contribute to nation building even after life in uniform. Let us produce soldiers who are not just skilled in handling tools of violence and managing violent environment, but soldiers who can also be future civil servants and skilled workers so that they will not be prey to soldiers of fortune syndrome. Being mission-oriented is what the Army is known for. We have already mastered the art of war, defeating our adversaries. This time, we look also at mission-oriented terms of proper utilization of finite financial, logistic, manpower, and time resources. Every resource, every effort, every sacrifice must align with our mission. Anything not mission-related will not find a place in our priority. Morale of troops is paramount. For their hard work and selfless sacrifice, our soldiers deserve a good and well-defined morale program and not a short-term enjoyment or the so-called solution to loneliness. Achieving healthy lifestyle, establishing good working and living environment, good leadership, and quality training. All these are priorities because our soldiers' well-being is a core strength of our force. Most importantly, the best morale-boosting activity that we will give our personnel is to make sure when he goes home to his family, the family is happy. I don't want the soldiers to experience what I experienced in 1990 when my brother went home. So guess what's next? R, M, I yield to Y. Supposedly, it's G, but the Army is not me. That's why I yield. We must yield not in weakness, but in strength for greater good. Yielding is a new term in our organization, but in the context of peace and conflict resolution, it always delivers positive output. I recall the first instance I briefed the Commander-in-Chief during his visit in the 6th Infantry Division last year. I briefed him on the capabilities of Army and the capability to dominate any adversaries at hand. But he replied, "You have a new role. Fight for peace." Thus, yielding is something new. Within the Army, let personal interest and comfort yield to our love of country and people. We yield for unity, for a strong Army, for a strong AFP, and a strong nation. Soldiery is voluntarily. It is a choice, it's a vocation. Sacrificing personal interest is mandatory. But your welfare will always be addressed. Just like what I've said earlier, it will be like a chant. So what do we have? Army. Sounds correct. Sa mga tech-savvy, it's Army. But it lacks the A. So what does A stands for? Always pray. Ora et labora. The way of life, the Benedictine monks embedded in my mind and soul. My secret for success. ARMY. ARMY. Let us march to the rhythm of ARMY with me as your lead. As we march, I will know some of us will be slighted. Some of us will lag behind, just as usual. But bear in mind the intention of this chant. To the men and women of the Philippine Army, our nation looks us with trust and confidence, knowing that we will protect our nation. Follow my lead. To our Commander-in-Chief, rest assured, on your fourth State of the Nation address, our soldiers, we will have better soldiers contributing more for national development. Isa ng karangalan ang pagkakataon mamuno ng hukbong katiyan ng Pilipinas. Tinatanggap ko po ang responsibilidad na ito ng buong katapatan at pananalig sa kakayahan at kagaling ng bawat sundalo at kawani ng ating organisasyon. That in all things, God may be glorified. A pleasant afternoon to all.
Thank you very much to the new Commanding General, the 66th Commanding General, Philippine Army, Lieutenant General Roy M. Galido. Well, at this point, ladies and gentlemen, the presiding officer will be introduced by the Honorable Gilberto C. Chodoro, Jr., Secretary of the Department of National Defense.
Ladies and gentlemen, the President of our Republic and Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of the Philippines, His Excellency Ferdinand R. Marcos, Jr.
Thank you to our National Defense Secretary, Secretary Gilbert Chodoro. Please take your seat. The Special Assistant to the President, Secretary Anton Lagdameo, the Chief of Staff of the Armed Forces of the Philippines, General Romeo S. Browner, Commanding General of the Philippine Army, Lieutenant General Roy Galido, officers, enlisted personnel, and civilian employees of the Armed Forces of the Philippines, my fellow workers in the civilian government, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. It is with a good deal of pride that I preside over the Philippine Army Change of Command ceremony. We congratulate then Army Commanding General, now AFP Chief of Staff, General Romeo Browner Jr., for completing your tour of duty and developing the Army into the progressive and resilient force that it is today. Under your leadership, we have established a firm defense against insurgency and terrorism by dismantling guerrilla fronts and intensifying our peace-building efforts. Through your initiatives to fortify our internal security, the Army has contributed to the development of conflict-affected communities and our overall progress as a nation. For all these and more, I extend my utmost respect, gratitude, and admiration. I truly wish you all success in your honorable endeavor now as the Armed Forces Chief of Staff. And let me now welcome and congratulate our 66th Philippine Army Commanding General, Lieutenant General Roy M. Galido. And as you take the reins of the Army, I wish to remind you that the success of an organization depends on our willingness to work persistently with the citizenry and with the civilian government. I urge everyone to strive towards building an army that is agile, adaptable, and competitive, works well together with its partners and stakeholders, and especially our citizens. I know that the journey towards this vision will test the limits of your character. But with the supervision, dedication, and perseverance of Lieutenant General Galido and the rest of our troops in the Philippine Army, I am confident that we can rightfully achieve this in no time at all. To our incoming Commanding General of the Philippine Army, I have worked with you just for a short time, but in that little time, I have seen you flourish in your command. And I have seen the good work and the successes that have come from that good work that you have put in your previous command as a West Main Commander. I look forward to working with you further, and I am confident that you will guide the Army to reach more milestones in our country and our campaign to end in our country the insurgency and tourism threat, as well as to address the lingering and emerging threats to now our national security. We challenge you to lead and boost your institution's engagements with its foreign counterparts. I urge the entirety of our Army to enhance your interoperability and communications, as well as to learn best practices through training and joint exercises, which we intend to further expand. I look forward to your plans to protect the shared identity that our past and present generations have built, and to transform the Army into a world-class force that is a source of our country's security and peace and pride. As your President and Commander-in-Chief, I assure you that this administration is committed to supporting you by modernizing the Army and the Armed Forces of the Philippines. Hand in hand, we will work together to heighten the internal and external security of the Philippines, to create a more conducive environment for the comprehensive growth and empowerment of our people. Once again, congratulations to our new Commanding General of the Philippine Army. Mabuhay ang ating Army, mabuhay ang ating AFP, mabuhay ang Pilipinas. Maraming salamat sa inyong lahat.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. Please be seated meantime. Well, a memento will be presented to His Excellency by the new Commanding General, Philippine Army. Well, the memento is the statuette of the President and Commander-in-Chief during his training as member of the Philippine Army Special Forces Operations, Course Class 21A-1979, from April to October 1979, conducted in Molave Complex, Fort Magsaysay, Nueva Ecija, where he showed courage and determination. They're showing off the SF coin. Well, from here, ladies and gentlemen, we'd like now to enjoin everyone to stand for the singing of Pilipinas Kong Mahal. We shall have the exit of colors. Dito po nagtatapos ang kabuuan ng seremonya sa pagpapalit ng pamunuan ng Hukbong Katihan ng Pilipinas. Ang lahat ay pinakikiusapang manatili sa inyong kinalalagyan hanggang makaalis sa tanghalan ang Pangulong Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. Palakpakan po natin ang kagalang-galang Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr.